guys are so funny. You're trying to get me to do this stupid shit. And
she just whispered, "I'm a bad bitch," for anyone who didn't hear. Stop. 420.
I'm lit at Disney.
And the kids asleep in the bath.
There we go. A ball sack station.
That's what a business owner looks like. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Tattoo Homewreckers. I am so over it. My name is Callista, and this is my best friend, Lou.
I guess I could have introduced us. Okay. We're a podcast where we talk about tattoos, life, and everything in between. And I'm just going to go ahead and get on the front end of this. Both of us are hella cranky.
What's happening to my hair?
If you're watching this on YouTube, you know that she is full goblin mode. If you're listening to it, you can hear that she's full goblin mode. Mm-hmm. We are both on our periods.
You for the second time, which is crazy.
Because menopause sucks.
Yeah, dude. And you're like, you had your own cycle and then you synced up with mine again.
Yeah.
So now you gifted the gift of two.
Yeah, I'd like 2 days of not. And then now I'm like, here I am again. Where if you have dealt with hormones, you understand that when it is that time, the smallest little thing, like the example you gave, was dropping a spoon.
You drop a spoon and then you just feel like sobbing. Oh my God. And that's how I feel. I'm like so sensitive to everything. So it's the extremes of like something minor happens and it makes me want to like cry for hours, or I'm just endlessly pissed off. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to feel like that. It sucks. And all I want to do is eat junk food. Fuck.
So after we're done recording, we are going to order some junk food because I do believe that's the only solution. I think that denying yourself when you're full of hormones only builds like self-loathing, honestly.
That's fair enough.
As someone who's like recovered from or recovering, I don't know if you ever fully recover, but recovering from an eating disorder, I have learned that like when it comes to times like this, you just have to have a little bit of that. Otherwise, I will like genuinely not be able to sleep tonight thinking about the fact that I need French fries.
That's so real.
Yeah. And I still haven't even tried the ketchup.
Oh yeah, for real. You got to try it.
Yeah. So we do have French fries in the freezer at least. So at least I can just do that. But also I just want someone else to make me French fries.
It's so different when you get it from a restaurant and you're like, great, it's like greasy and disgusting and I love it. So
yeah.
Anyways, today we're going to do a short episode because again, I'm fiending for a cheeseburger right now. So I decided to pull up 10 important things to ask before moving in together.
Which is also fun because we just told Caboose about this topic. I walked in from painting the new house. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, we're still in the Airbnb as we get the other house set up, and we're still waiting on delivery from our items, which are supposed to show up tomorrow, but we'll see. But before we get anything in, just like I did with our first house that we lived together in, I'm a big believer in trying to get as much painting done. So you do a big push in the beginning before you have all of your stuff in there. So that way you're able to actually like, you know, not have to paint around stuff and you get all the nooks and crannies and like patch any holes or do anything that you need to do to customize the space. So I've been painting. You have been meticulously cleaning.
Thank you.
You guys, I brought the tools from like we had the Cricut in LA so I could Cricut the dog crates.
I just spilled cider all over myself. Continue. We're fine. Everything's fine. That is so. Oh my fucking God. Do you guys ever get your period and shit like that just randomly happens to you and you're like, wow, I'm pissed off. I'm over it. Anyways. Meticulously cleaning with Cricut supplies.
So we have the little pick, which is basically the same as a dental hygienist pick. I also learned this because I was doing some at-home dental work because I had a piece of plaque that built up on my tooth. And don't worry, I have 2 of them. So the one she's cleaning with is not the one I used on my teeth.
That's so funny.
But I definitely did that like last week. I was like, this is bothering me. There you go.
Might as well just do it.
Also, do not do that. Like, don't do that at home unless you have like an extreme level of like autism and ADHD like myself, where you can watch someone do something like twice and then you're pretty solid at doing it. Don't do at-home dental work. That's a terrible idea.
I would not trust myself to do such a thing. So that's impressive. But yeah, I've been taking the Cricut, the dental pick tool that she's been using and just essentially picking out all the grime that's wedged in between like the corners and crevices of the cabinet doors. So that's been super fun because it's disgusting. And it literally, it picks up so much shit, you guys. Like, I recorded a video earlier today of me doing it, and yeah, it's a noticeable difference. And it's just like gross, like dead skin cells and grime and food particles and just it's so nasty but so satisfying.
Yes. So on the note of us moving into another house together, and this will be like how many years? Like 4 years we've lived together?
4 years. I thought closer to 5.
Probably 5.
Yeah, I think like closer to 5, right? 4.5 or something? I don't know. I feel like it's been longer.
Yeah, it's probably been longer.
Yeah, and Caboose was like, well, how many things did you guys ask each other before you actually moved in? We're like, nothing except there was one roommate talk, and it happened between all 3 of us, and you had brought up, I distinctly remember this because we were in the kitchen while we were talking about it, and Lou was like, okay, what are your guys' boundaries as far as like roommates go? Like, what are your like, you know, what are some things that like, you know, all of us need to know now that we're going to live together? And the only one I could think of was I was like, dude, I just can't. Like while I'm cooking, I cannot handle like other people being in the kitchen while I'm fucking cooking. Because it's like I've pinpointed it. It's not people's presence. Like, watch me cook, that's fine. I don't actually care. If people watch me, like, that's not where it comes from. It's the fact that, like, if they're in the kitchen, for some reason, there's a universal pull for that extra person to always be where you need to go next. So you're consistently always asking this person, hey, can you please move? Can you please move? Can you please move? And it doesn't matter, like, where they decide to stand, it just like is just so synced up to like wherever else you need to go. So I fucking can't handle that. Did you have any answers to that question that you asked? Do you remember that?
No, I don't even remember that conversation.
Yeah.
I am internally laughing at the fact that Caboose still tries to be in the kitchen with you.
Yes.
Almost every day.
Brother.
And I'm like, Callie's cooking. And if I'm being completely honest, I also completely forgot you answered that and was just like, yeah, I just don't go in the kitchen. I think it bothers her or something. And that's it. Like, I'm like, no, if I have to go in, then I'm like, hey, can I grab this real fast? And you're like, yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah, I like that you had the answer without even...
yeah, I didn't even think about, like, I don't remember...
where you got it from.
Yeah, I was like, I just know that, like, you don't go in the kitchen when she's cooking. Yeah, also, because I don't know, I think that's weird. I think that going into the kitchen when someone's cooking, to me, is a lot like going to the bathroom when someone's in the bathroom. That unless you're, like, both in a rush, the whole his and her, like, sinks, like, luckily that's not really a thing here. I will never do a his and her sink again. Like, the next house after this one will be one that we build ourselves. And I don't like a his and her sink. That's just a whole other sink for me to fucking clean. And I don't want to hear you brushing your teeth when I'm brushing my teeth. And I also don't like to be around people that are cooking. Like, it's different when I'm, like, sitting. Like, I did like that about our old house where I get to, like, sit and watch you do it.
Yeah, you're on the opposite end of the island, like, and you get to watch.
Chopping's really loud. It's, like, a sensory fucking nightmare. So unless I'm actively watching you, if you're just making noise while I'm cooking, I don't like people around when I cook because I cook like a fucking insane person.
Let's
be real clear. I cannot cook unless it is a holiday meal. I can only cook with, like, full fat, unhealthy fucking foods, and I don't try to make those except for the holidays.
Well, I am really excited to experience your, like, mac and cheese in, like, full humidity.
Oh my God, yeah, because I could not nail it. That or cookies or anything where I had to, like, bake.
Baking is still scary for me, so, like, yeah, I'm excited to see you nail it. But anyways, okay, back to the questions. It's only 10. Our first question is, where do you see us in the future?
Where do I see us in the future? An unstoppable force.
An unstoppable force?
Yeah. Like, just the studio thriving, us also, like I guess ideally, like, a long time from now, I don't know, this has to do with roommates, whatever. That, like, we tattoo part-time and we do other stuff part-time. That we have lots of, like, avenues where it's like, for you, it's like film, and for me, it's like event organizing, and like all of those things can still work together, but we also have like other people.
Yep.
Like within our like orbit and our teams.
Totally.
But I guess more accurately in the sooner future is I see us living in a new house and then hopefully meeting your future spouse. I'm really excited about that.
I'm very excited about it too.
Yeah. Because 4 is like the perfect number.
Yeah, I agree. And
we've had a really good time at like 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really excited for 4 people.
Well,
Caboose
yeah.
needs a little bestie.
Briefly, we were able to experience that. That was officially like, what was it, 4 years ago?
Yeah. Oh,
I
so
keep
yeah,
getting-
it's been like 5 years
Yeah,
since we've lived
bro.
together at least.
Yeah, it's been 5 years since we've lived together. But yeah, 4 years ago, I keep getting, y'all ever get Snapchat memories of you and your ex, or like you, like while you were like just talking to your ex? It's crazy. But yeah,
Oh,
4
yeah.
years ago, I was just talking to one of my exes, and that was the last time we were able to like operate as 4.
And it was super dope.
So fun.
Like, it was a really
so
fun time.
He's a horrible Trumper now, so
That part
hate
is
that.
devastating.
Hate that.
Yeah.
Considering that we like experienced San Francisco like Pride together and
Mhm.
everything like that. Like he was so cool back then, but unfortunately now he's a MAGA person. So
Well, that's what happens when you're a pick-me. You just adapt to whoever the new person you're going to be with
no,
is.
he totally absorbed like the personality of like whoever he's dating.
Mhm.
So bummer deal. But where do I see us in the future?
Where do you see us in the future?
I see us successful. I see us like it's so crazy. I really needed this question because I've been in a really sad place, like trying to like consolidate my feelings of like, okay, stop freaking out. You know what I mean? Living in a different country is like anxiety inducing for
Mhm.
sure, even for the strong-willed. And I would consider myself like pretty strong-willed and pretty like resilient.
Yes, you are. Not
thank
pretty.
you.
You fucking are.
Thank you. I would consider myself resilient, and this is definitely not for the like faint of heart. So I've been having like a lot of anxiety around my visa, which is crazy because like considering how the world's going right now, I don't know if all my anxieties are actually going to matter. So hearing this question of where do you see us in the future and like actually being able to skip ahead of that anxiety is really nice because I do see us very successful and like just doing well.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yeah. I was going to say happy is like what I see.
Yeah, very happy. I don't see us like yacht rich, but I see us like
I've never wanted to be yacht rich.
me neither.
I wouldn't want to buy a yacht. I'd want to take the money that you could buy a fucking yacht with and invest it in the community and
Yes.
invest it in like other
Totally.
opportunities for other people. Like, who fucking, you know what? If you want a yacht, that's fine. But like for me, like that goes against my moral compass of like, if you have things, create like opportunities for people.
I was gonna say, yes, that's a beautiful way to put that because honestly, like, I think that like with America being, you know, America right now, it was really my wake up call and like a huge point in my life to realize how important it is to build platforms around the community that you care about and the community that you're part of. And I think we did that with Cali Luz in Reno for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like if money were added to the equation, I wouldn't want to just be banking up money and spending it on frivolous things like yachts. I'd want to make sure that there was a platform for queer people, for people of color, for people like us. So that way there is no way that like this New Zealand government could be overturned by basically turned into a second America. I don't
Yeah.
want that to happen. And in order for that to like really be a thing, I think that like, yeah, rich people just need to care more. Fuck.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I see us wealthy. Not yacht wealthy, but platform like spreading wealthy. Okay, second question.
Okay.
What are your expectations around having children?
No. Unless you mean fur babies, which I think we all share the same expectations. We have 2 beautiful, like, slightly older, just a little bit past midlife girlies, and we're not trying to introduce more dogs.
No, they're crazy
into
healthy.
that.
And
I want them to have, like, a great remainder of their life. So, no. And human babies, no.
No.
Contemplated earlier in life, like we talked about like adopting, and that's still not like off the like table for me, but like it is currently because like I'm on a visa
in this economy?
So, yeah, that's the other
Yeah.
thing is like Cali Luz is my baby, and then like just like I said, creating opportunities for people. Like I would love to be able to work with young people, but not fucking have my own, because it would. In order to be a good parent, it takes so much time and energy
Totally.
that I don't have to spend on that.
Yeah.
And I know that that would essentially be a waste of my resources, of like my creative thinking and like the way that I operate in the world.
Totally.
that like it would waste that potential to help more just to be able to do good for one.
Absolutely. I think the more practical side of me also is very drawn to the fact that I don't need to add to the population. So there's the practicality of it. And then emotionally, I feel the same way. Like I still am like, you know, obviously I won't own a dog for a really long time. Again, we're not trying to add another one to the pack. But I still think to myself, like, dude, I'm not ready. Like, I am not ready to be a dog mom. And I just like know that because of the sacrifices that you need to make. Like being a dog auntie has been wonderful. But being a dog mom
really
is a whole other
good
thing.
dog auntie.
But being a dog mom
I've
is so
been
different.
painting the house and like I spent 12 hours there yesterday.
Yeah, dude. You've been clocking in hours.
Yeah, like about 12 hours today. We did have to run around to a couple paint stores, but like you're walking Guinness because she needs a lot. She's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So she needs like a lot. And you're like really like it is that case that even with like if you want to be a good like dog parent or any type of parent,
Totally.
it's about like being able to rely on your community.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And like you're a great dog auntie.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a stepping stone. But yeah, I also just no human babies. I'm good. I will forever think like I can't wait to meet my future spouse because I'm gonna be like, what am I, a child bride? At the big age of 26. And I know that my peers are having kids right now. But I really do feel like if I got pregnant at this moment, I would be like, oh my God, I'm a teen mom. Like that's how 100% how I would feel.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not ready. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay. Number 3, how will we handle conflict?
Okay, so how will we handle conflict? I think that we're just gonna like fisticuffs.
I was gonna say
think we're just gonna fucking brawl.
You gotta brawl.
Yeah.
3 rounds.
I don't want to go 3 rounds with
rounds.
you. Okay, let's be real clear. Y'all all think I'm the mean one, but if you watched the tortilla slap one, that episode almost ruined our friendship.
There's so much so much strength in these tiny mitts that I had no idea existed.
I already knew it.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen me break so many things.
You just over tighten stuff. You break stuff. You offered to like assemble our bed earlier today, and I was like, I'm scared you're gonna over tighten a screw. Which is actually good that you didn't, because we bought like a really, you know, first off, lots of shit's different here.
Yes.
So but we bought like a cheapy like bed frame just so that way we can get our mattress off the floor.
My mattress is on the floor, but like there's
on
plastic.
The plastic, yeah.
It's on the plastic, so I can move it around and see what like best.
And honestly, leave it on the plastic because that God knows how old that carpet is.
Oh yeah.
Although luckily that carpet's in great condition. Whatever they're doing with carpet here is a much better carpet than they're doing in the States.
Or yeah, you're right.
No,
it
it's
could
the
just
texture of the
the actual.
It's like the actual quality of the carpet. Excuse me, but like I'm glad that you didn't assemble the bed,
right?
Because Caboose went to go tighten one of the screws and then it just broke. And I was thinking about the fact that I was like,
would have cried.
Yeah, you would have been devastated thinking it was you.
Yes,
but also I was like, I don't know, bitch. I've seen you over tighten screws with your bare hands. And if you're not like a crafty person, you might not know how impressive that is. But I've seen her over tighten screws with her bare hands, where she has stripped a whole ass screw that I have had to like, like if I stripped that same screw, it was with a fucking power tool. So I don't actually ever want to go fisticuffs with her.
Again, we got to bring up the fact that I broke like a $10,000 chair, and it was like,
how did you shear the metal?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't just welding. You simultaneously sheared a bolt and like where the tack welding on it. The tack welding I can like understand, but you straight sheared a bolt.
I don't know how that
She wasn't tightening it. She was just moving it and adjusting it.
If it's your first time here, if you've been here for a while, you've heard the story many times. I have broken many a key into an ignition. Lots of times.
Yeah. Anytime she unlocks a door, I am mildly panicked.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, we're staying in an Airbnb where, like, the way that she's been closing the door is with the key. And I get real freaked out every time because I'm like, I do not want to have to replace this person's lock.
Totally.
And be like, you don't understand.
Hulk hands.
Yeah, so actual conflict, we give space when space is needed.
Period.
And both of us are on it.
Yes.
And then we just talk about it when it needs to be talked about.
Totally. And if the conversation isn't going anywhere, I think that's where it's necessary to take space. But but it's also necessary to allow space to happen.
And to circle back.
Circle back. Yeah, I love a circle. Oh, we circle back all the time. So we'll like dish out, like when we come to a resolution, we dish out the main portion of it. But like there's so much happening in conflict that like is so worth being able to circle back and still talk about, even in like smaller conversations. Just because it's like, it's kind of like, this is going to sound really weird. I've never done this, but like deboning a fish. You can get the spine out, but then there's all those tiny little
That's a great example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like you can't just expect like the fish fillet to not have any bones just because the majority has been dished out, you know? And not being afraid to dish it out or, you know, circle back.
Yeah, I was going to go with a very like Southern way of explaining that, which was that you can get the main sand spur out, but you know that if the sand spur like has little barbs in there, you still have to go back and get the barbs out.
Totally.
And I think that like conflict resolution is something we're both really good at. And also because I don't know about you, I don't take it personally if you're in a shit mood.
Yeah, totally.
Like there's that little bit of sting initially where it's like, oh no, she's like upset with me. And then I have to be like, that bitch just got a lot going on.
Totally. Absolutely.
Like, and it's just about like giving that grace.
Absolutely.
And like you've taught me to be able to do that with like a lot of other people. I forgot we're not living in this house. I was just looking at that door. Like that door needs to get painted. This is not the house we're painting.
No, not this one. Thank goodness.
Deboning a fish. I love that.
Deboning a fish and getting a sand spur out. That's very Southern. Okay. Number 4. How should we manage our finances?
Oh, this is like we're moving in together.
Oh yeah, I suppose we're moving in.
Oh, not together. Like roommates. I don't.
Why is it? Oh yeah, I guess it is for relationships.
Whatever. I love it. This is a relationship. You and I actually, you know what? This is worth talking about. You and I have a very healthy relationship around money.
Yeah, totally.
My philosophy, just like last week, I was talking about. Actually, no, I didn't talk about this on the podcast. I talked about it with you. My philosophy is it all comes out in the wash.
Yes.
I do not like relationships in which people have to like tally every last little fucking thing up. That stresses me the fuck out. I have had friendships like that, and like just that alone can break a friendship for me because I do not want to be like, you're in debt, I'm in debt, you're in debt, I'm in debt. I do not have that relationship with money.
Yeah.
Because of the structure of our job that I can just work more and earn more money. I very much have and I have worked very hard for this. To be very clear, I grew up not rich. I grew up needing school free lunches. Totally. Thank God for that. With the church dropping off, with churches dropping off free food for us. I did not grow up with a healthy relationship to money. And I've worked very hard to be very like free with it. So that way I can give it to people that need it.
Totally.
And not want to hoard it, which I think is oftentimes what can happen very easily. And so we very much have like if I pay for something one time, you pay for something. And then we also like today we embarrassed ourselves in the store because we had not hit the button when we were buying paint and painting supplies. And
so we were fighting
who could pay. Because we have a like competitive streak against each other.
For sure, absolutely.
And it'll be for like things like that, which are kindness. And so like, yeah, I think that personally, I like our relationship around money because I'm not like, oh, this bitch hasn't paid me. No, it all comes out in the wash.
Totally.
And I've not felt taken advantage of. And I would
neither have I.
And like,
if anything, I'm just trying to make sure that like and I feel like this is what a very equal relationship should be, is like making sure that it's an equal playing field.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
It's like, okay, great. Like, yeah, you spent all this money on this. I've got this. Like, don't worry about that. You know what I mean? Like,
but like also right now, like we just sold our house, so we have a little bit more liquid assets than you have.
Totally.
So like, again, it's like understanding that where I'm like, hey, right now, a lot of the like rebuilding this house is we have more liquid assets because we just sold a bunch of shit so we could buy this shit.
Totally.
And it's about having like an understanding of like where everyone is in their lives. And I think that's something that like people can get like really stuck in the weeds of like, I bought the last meal. And don't get me wrong, if you're having dinner with someone and every single time you have fucking dinner with them, you have to pay, That's a fucked up relationship. Don't have that.
Totally.
Establish boundaries. But I do, like, personally, I can't be in a relationship with people who are like, oh, well, I need to know the exact amount that I owe you. And I'm like, ew?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I'm sorry if that's how you operate, like, and you want a relationship with me because I can't operate like that.
Yeah. And I think that's the whole point of relationships, right? Is seeing what's compatible between you and the other person. Again, we're not, like, judging you for meeting an exact amount, but, like, that's what works for us. And
yeah,
it just feels good that way. So, yeah, I mean, that was a good answer. Thanks. That's how we manage it fluidly. 5, how would you describe your spending habits?
I think I would have said before, and I think maybe when I was younger, I was kind of frivolous. And now, like, my spending habits are pretty much like, if it makes me happy and it's not wasteful, then I'm going to spend money on it. So
yes, I was thinking about this question. Because I peeped at it a little bit. Sorry.
I don't care. You can peep at it.
She peeped. And as far as your spending habits go, I would like to say that your spending habits are very much like investing in the longevity of joy. So
thank you.
It is not just like oh my gosh, this makes me feel good in the moment, and then it's tossed away later.
Well, I can't do that.
No.
That feels to me like that goes against my moral compass of creating waste. Because I have a lot of, like, issues with creating waste for the planet because I still feel very, like, connected to the fact that, like, we are not supposed to produce garbage all the time.
Yes.
So, like, the reduce, reuse, recycle is very, very much, like, connected to who I am as a human being.
Absolutely.
And so I try to make sure that if I'm going to spend money on something, I'm either going to improve someone else's life or I'm going to make sure that, like, I'm creating an environment. So, like, I mean, just to be very clear, paint here is expensive. Paint in the States is expensive, but paint here is very expensive.
Totally.
So, but for me, creating a house in which we can enjoy, first off, like, creating and, like, painting walls is a really important thing in my life, to live in an environment that breeds creativity, because we have such creative jobs that like it drains your entire battery. So you need to be in spaces that create that, but also spaces that create, like, safety and joy, like, when you walk in the door.
Yes.
And also because that means that, like, the new people that we introduce into our lives also get to experience that.
Yeah. And I get to experience, like, us, because I feel like the house that you live in, when you go balls to the wall and you're like, this is my personality, this is how I'm decorating, it really is like a wear your heart on your sleeve situation. And like if you want to be an open book as a person, fucking decorate.
Yeah.
Because that's it, you know? Like, people who might not agree with it, but, like, see the joy in it and can appreciate that, that's the people you want to be with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the people you want to keep in your friend circle. And then the people who are, like, off-right, like, this is hideous, why would you guys do that? Like, a shaming place of, like, ew, no.
Well, that lets you know they're not your people.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
have it be that way.
And I think a lot of people think about that with, like, their clothes, or, like, this reflects my personality.
Totally.
But I think, like, for me, it always was that larger sense of, like, but this is the space I inhabit. And I don't, like, see me as often as I see this space I'm within.
Dude, totally. And, like, I think it's, like, so it's honestly intelligent to invest in the space that you're in. Y'all need to watch the interior design episode of Tattoo Homeworkers, by the way. We delve into this a lot because it just feeds your soul, and it's a wonderful way of, like, again, like, honoring yourself. And you said the other day, like, honoring the people who can't do this, the people who work their asses off and can't get anywhere, you know, can't seem to, like, fight the uphill battle of their finances for whatever reason that may be. Just honoring those people of, like, okay, so if we have the money, let's do it. Let's live our life to the fullest. And that's, like, a mantra I always have too. And I think I've brought this up on the podcast when I'm in, like, moments of, like, really, like, weak times. Like, I don't feel like I'm good enough, or, like, I don't feel like I have the strength to do something. I have a mantra of, like, I'm doing this for the women who existed before me.
Exactly.
The women who exist with me, and the women who will exist after me.
Yeah.
That's how you do humanity justice. So, yeah, that's my little spiel. My spending habits, I would say, food is a vice for me. I love
That's not
spending
a
money on
vice.
food.
It's a beautiful thing. I think that it's the same thing where like your joy for food is genuinely infectious.
Oh, thank you.
So like don't get me wrong, this bitch still can't cook. Unless it's like an optional, like it's a holiday dinner. Also, I'm keeping that reputation. I don't ever want a reputation that I can cook because then people want me to cook for them.
Brother, I've gotten so many people asking me to be their private chef, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I already have a whole career.
Yes.
I literally have a whole ass career. No.
Don't get me wrong. I benefit directly from this, so I love it. But you know what? Get your own fucking Callista and like befriend someone who loves food.
Yes.
So I don't think it's a vice because it's also your form of creativity.
Yes.
Where like you go and test new like recipes after you've gone and you've had something new. So I think that again, it's just your form of creativity.
Thank you.
And it shows in that area. So I don't think it's a fucking vice. I think that there's just a weird culture around eating out. And I say that in like quotations because people are fucking weird about it because I'm going to go on a slight 1 minute tangent right here.
Yes.
People spent money on food and then it became this like shame point of if you could eat out all the time, that meant that you were not traditional. So you didn't know how to cook and you did not have the time to cook. And so therefore it was a way to shame people for not being in their homes. But at the end of the day, if cooking and like if food is something that brings you joy, which it does.
Yes.
Then there is nothing wrong with investing your money into that. And if someone else, it's same as like, I'm sure for some people, spending $1,400 on a house worth of paint and like wallpaper and stuff is, well, it's going to be more if you count the wallpaper. But like, that's going to be something that people are like, that's a waste. And I'm like, I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I think that that's an investment. And I feel the same way with you of food because how many recipes and like combinations of food have you learned through ordering food?
That's true. And it's
because
a good
you're
way
just,
to honor yourself.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you like dismiss that part of yourself, there's a lot of resentment that will build.
Yeah.
And eventually I do think this might be the capitalistic like personality, like, I don't know, programming in me. But I do think that like if you deter yourself from spending money on the thing that brings you joy and lights you up, you will spend that money regardless on something else that doesn't bring you joy.
Absolutely. I don't think it's capitalistic. I think that's
like the whole like
truth.
energy exchange.
Yes.
Like that is like
well
being in movement, like operating as a human being thing. You know what I mean? Like you're going to do it anyway.
In case anyone out there is still like, well, I mean, you just eat it once and it's gone and it's wasteful, whatever. If you love movies like myself, going and paying for that experience is genuinely a beautiful thing. If you love music, I don't love like live concerts. Like I love live music, but in a much smaller venue just because I can't handle, like I couldn't go see the Eras tour. However, the amount of people that I've listened to that have gone to it and talked about it being a truly life-changing moment.
Yeah, totally.
That means that that money was so well spent for them. And though I'm not going to spend that money on a tour, you might not spend that money on eating out. I'm going to spend that money on, like, I'll take an architectural tour in a heartbeat. Because again, buildings and the things that we live within, or I would pay for an entire course on city design and engineering. Like, that's the stuff that, like, lights me up. So it's about, like, honoring what lights you up and not diminishing it.
Yes.
And like that's what I think. There's just a weird culture. But if you said I spend my money on buying art, people would be like, how distinguished. And to me personally, I'm like, I'm not gonna pay for art.
Totally.
I just look at it on the internet.
It's the same thing with like brand name clothes. I think for this question, the real question, instead of like how would you describe your spending habits, because there's so many caveats on like so many pathways of how you could judge a person for what they like to spend on. For example, someone could spend a lot of their money on like designer handbags, but then you'll see them never eat out. You'll see them like not use gas or mostly take public transportation.
Yep.
So they're not paying for a car. They're not paying for gas. You'll see them buy like, I don't know, food that is cheaper. They go to farmers markets, whatever. It's this question should more be like how would you like describe your flow of like financial spending?
Yes.
What's your relationship to the flow of spending? Do you go on like binge shopping trips, because that's a thing that can happen, you know, like what do they say? Retail therapy is a thing.
Yeah.
Do you like to do retail therapy? How often is retail therapy for you?
And as long as it's not coming at the expense of like harm to yourself.
Right. Like I need to know that you can pay fucking rent is basically at the end of the day, that's what this question is asking. Can you fucking pay your rent while also managing whatever makes you happy?
Mm-hmm.
Are your spending habits destructive? Like,
yep.
That's kind of what I'm getting from that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That was a good question.
Thanks. I didn't write it. All right. Number 6. How do you feel about debt?
I mean, I think it's just a part of life, honestly.
I was going to say, everyone has it.
Yeah. At some point, you're going to have it. If you don't have it, you're incredibly lucky. I don't judge people for debt. I think, once again, money, like energy, it's give and take. And honestly, like, I'm speaking from a place of privilege where I have been able to, like, we didn't grow up middle class. And both my brothers and myself have been able to get to middle class. And so, like, I speak from a place of privilege because, again, we worked hard, but I didn't have, like, the systems going against me that so many other people have. And I was lucky enough to have opportunities. So I don't judge people for debt. I think that, like, if you have debt and it's crippling, like, honestly, my heart goes to you. And I think that the government should be doing things to help you because you also pay taxes.
100%.
And the taxes should be there to help you.
Yeah. But, like, of course, in America, it's so capitalistic that, like, actually everything around you is not in your favor. So if you have debt, really, that's just a normal part of being an American citizen. That's how I feel, too. Debt isn't really... Everyone has it. I think that, like, again, if you're privileged enough to be in a space where you don't, that's awesome. But recognize it. Yes. Recognize it. Okay. Number 7. What are your financial goals?
To be able to earn enough money that I can, like, continuously give back on a larger scale. Because, like, I have always, since I first started earning money, have always donated to causes that I believe in. But I would love to be able to, like, I want to earn enough money that I can be in the rooms that you need money to be in to implement the change. Amazing way to respond to that. Mine's very crude. I was going to say, I want to be able to hit triple digits in my bank account, like, without the expense of, like, benefiting from other people's suffering. Yes. I want to hit those triple digits and then, like you said, be in the room where money fucking matters, where we know that we're making a change. You can make a difference for people and you can advocate for people. Yes. I'm trying to change the political climate of somewhere that is pro, again, LGBT and like pro-love, essentially, just pro-human. With it not being at the expense of other people. Even if it's on a minor scale. Yes. If it's just at a city scale, I'd be so happy, you know? Yeah, which, I mean, we're getting into those rooms already, but it is that, like, understanding that the more privilege you have in those areas, the more impact you can make. Totally. Perfect. 8. Where will we live? I'm not going to give the address here, but we live in a beautiful 60-plus-year-old house that we are currently updating and pouring lots of love. And she's glowing already. Yeah. I think, like, and that's the joy that I feel with, like, diligently, like, picking out the grime of, like, the cabinet doors. And I'm sure you feel the same way about, like, painting. Like, this house, like, you build a relationship with her. And she's been needing a tooth cleaning, girl. Yes. So we're stoked for her. Okay. 9. How will we manage household chores? That's a good question. I mean, I think we're pretty, like, solid with it. It's very much the same as a shop. Is if it's dirty, clean it. Yeah. See something, do something. Yeah. See something, do something. If you feel guilty about not doing it, it's okay. Like, I think we're both also really good at being like, hey, I don't have spoons to do that right now, but I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then usually that gives the other person the energy to be like, because again, bitch, we are competitive. Yeah. Oh, really? So it's like, if I can, like, sneakily steal her laundry and wash her laundry, that is still my favorite trick to play, is that I'm like, she's in the shower. And I will sleuth in, steal her laundry hamper, and then be like, don't let her notice. and put it back in.
And it's so thank you. That's so delightful. I love that.
Our battery's dying, so we gotta hurry.
All right, we gotta hurry. Number 10, what happens if it doesn't work out?
That's not an option, but as in like one of us dies, then the other person will continue the legacy.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, like it's a choice. If it like, don't get me wrong, it takes one person to fuck up a relationship.
Yes.
And it takes 2 people to make it work. But we have decided
it takes 2 to make a thing go right. Sorry.
Yeah, I love that. I set myself up for that. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna work because we both want it to work. Okay, really quick, what was your win for the week?
My win for the week was recording this because I really didn't want to, but I knew we had to do it tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. Love you guys so much. Thanks for listening. But yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
My win for the week is that we're moving into a new place, and we were really stressed about it like 2 weeks ago. And that like everything just like works out when you fucking work for it.
Yeah.
Within reason. So yeah. But on that note, we love you guys so much before we lose video on everything, because again, we're working with minimal things to get this to you.
Yep.
But thank you so much. And like always, like, subscribe, all the stuff I'm supposed to say. Support us however you want to support us. Video is gone. We love you guys. Bye.
Bye.